I hadn't been in charge that many times, but it wasn't that difficult. I mean, you just make out the assignments based on the patients you have with the staff that's available. That shift, we were short-staffed. Just myself, an LPN, and 2 nursing assistants, Ruth and Michaela. Since we were so short-staffed, I gave the hardest patients to myself and to the LPN, Jenny.
Nursing assistants were always so helpful, especially Ruth. And they were generally very capable of meeting my needs. But tonight would be different.
I can't believe that Linda called in sick again. I know that stomach flu is going around, but without her, we are going to be very short-staffed.
I know what you mean. The last 3 days, I've been pulled to 5 West. I hope I don't get pulled again tonight.
Well, I don't see how that could possibly happen. We barely have enough people here to cover our own patients. I'm going to have to be in charge and take patients. Here's your assignment. Now, Ruth, here's your task list. Mrs. Campbell is still very weak, but she's getting stronger every day. Since she's so sedentary, the doctor...
I need to talk to you right away. And Wanda's waiting for you to do a narcotics count. She's got to get home, her kid's sick.
Okay. Ruth, look this over and see if you have any questions. If you do, we can discuss them after I get back from counting narcotics.
What Karen was going to say, just as she was interrupted, was that the doctor had started me on a blood thinner, so I wouldn't get blood clots in my legs. But she never finished her sentence, and then she simply got too busy.
I can't believe you assigned me Mr. Ringwald, Mrs. Jones, and Mr. Lawson, in addition to all the other patients you gave me. Mr. Ringwald is incontinent. He's got diarrhea from a tube feeding. I'll never get out of that room. I have the toughest patient load. I think Ruth should handle Mr. Ringwald, especially since I have so many treatments to do.
Let me see the assignment. Okay, Ruth can help you with Mr. Ringwald, but you're going to have to help me supervise her. I've got my own patient load, and I'm in charge. You know how you have that little voice in your head that tells you when you shouldn't do something? Well, I didn't feel right about the decision, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to make any enemies, not tonight. I couldn't afford a conflict. I needed all the help I could get.
Dana, I'm swamped. I've already cleaned Mr. Ringwald up twice, and here we go again. It looks like I'm going to be in this room all evening. I haven't even had a chance to check on Mrs. C. Could you do it for me?
Sure thing. How are you doing, Mrs. C?
Oh, I'm fine, dear, but can you help me to the bathroom?
Just a minute. Let me go get your nurse.
Oh, I can't wait. Please just give me a hand. I can't make it on my own.
Mrs. C, I'm only a volunteer. I'm not really supposed to do that. Let me go get your nurse. Just wait a minute. Ruth, Mrs. C has to go to the bathroom. Can you help her?
I'm in the middle of a mess right now. Can you take her?
I'm not supposed to.
Please, just this once. It'll be okay. Just stay next to her to steady her. She'll be fine. She doesn't need a lot of help.
I really had to go to the bathroom. That nice little girl came to help me, but she told me not to get up without her. I waited, but she didn't come back. To tell you the truth, my bottom was getting numb. Well, I thought I could make it back to my bed on my own. And the last thing I remember, I was reaching for my walker.
Initially, I wasn't overwhelmed, but by the time Mr. Ringwald had soiled himself for the 3rd time, I was up to my elbows in a big mess, and in more ways than one. So I asked a volunteer to check on Mrs. Campbell. I didn't think it would be a problem. Then I heard a loud thunk. When I got to her room, she was in the bathroom on the floor. Mrs. Campbell, are you all right? Help! Anybody, help!
What's the problem? Oh, my God, what happened?
Well, I don't know, dear. One moment I was on the john, and the next thing I knew, I was on the floor.
Go get Karen. Let me take a look at you. Do you know where you are?
How is she?
She seems to be okay. She has a small bump on the side of her head. I don't know what she hit it on. She doesn't seem to remember what happened. Nothing else seems to be hurt.
All right, well, let's get her back to bed. You get her vitals and I'll call the doctor. Keep an eye on her and don't let her get out of bed again. Ruth, take her vitals and do neurochecks every half hour for a couple of hours and keep me posted.
Jenny, Mrs. Campbell's complaining of a headache.
Did you tell Karen?
I went looking for her, but she's all tied up with the new admission. She told me to find you.
Well, I'm just as busy as she is. All right. Are her vital signs okay? What about her neuro checks?
She seems fine, just a little tired and worn out from all the commotion. But her pupils are equal, they react to light. I think she's just tired.
Well, I'm busy right now. Grace is giving meds on your patient. Go ask Grace to give her something for pain.
I couldn't tell her I was losing ground. I was slipping away slowly but surely. My pupils were reacting but sluggishly. My pulse pressure was widening. Unfortunately, no one picked up on it. The nursing assistant just didn't have the knowledge base or the experience to see the subtle changes in my condition. She couldn't put the pieces of the puzzle together to see the big picture. Oh, I was in trouble.
What happened here?
Well, Mrs. C fell about 5 hours ago. We found her on the floor in the bathroom. She must have tried to get up by herself. She had a small bump on the side of her head, but she seemed okay. She was alert and oriented at the time.
Okay, did you notify her doctor?
Yes, I called and left a message with his service. And I didn't think it was an emergency, but I called her family.
She
too.
complained of a headache around 6 p.m. She had something for pain then.
Okay, let me see her chart. And when did you say she fell?
Around 4 p.m.
Okay. Where are her vitals? The last entry says 6 p.m. That's 3 hours ago.
You said take them every half hour, and I did. And when she got her pain meds, she wanted to rest. So I checked in on her, but she seemed to be asleep. I wasn't going to wake her to take them. Then I got busy with Mr. Ringwald, and I didn't get back. I just never got back.
I think we have a serious problem here. You better call her doctor. Stat. Can I see your stethoscope?
It happened so fast. By the time I got help, the bleeding in my brain had already done too much damage. I never regained consciousness.